Welcome to our first ever podcast, Often Racing, presented here by Kurrinda Bloodstock. I'm George Sexton, and I'm joined here by our Bloodstock manager, Sean Driver. Sean, mate, why did you always want to do this podcast? You were always rambling on about it to me, and other than give me something to do and more work.
Welcome. I just wanted to give people, to have the access of, the public to another avenue of what we do, what other people do, what our trainers do, just everyone in general. It's not about horse racing. It's going to be about life and might be, very positive things that people do, and then we'll hit some harder topics and then the struggles with certain things. I just want to do everything in, around, above, out, down of racing, and then with life as well. It's just very important to relate to people that, look, we all do have lives. Yes, we're a horse racing syndicator, but look, we all have a life as well. And I think people will be able to connect with people better that way.
Yeah, and podcasts seem to be like the way it's going now, isn't it? Everyone will chuck one on when they're at the gym or in the car or cleaning the house, whatever it be. You won't clean the house too much, but...
No, that's definitely a negative. But no, it's just interactive, isn't it? It's so much more, it's just relevant. It's the way things are going, and why not? We'll jump on the bandwagon.
You got to get with the times, don't you?
Yeah.
So, we'll just give our listeners a bit of a little intro into like who we are and what we do. We're not just two idiots sitting here talking crap.
Yeah. Just the history of us and...
Yeah, Kurrinda Bloodstock, so...
Well, I guess it all started with, I'm 36, and look, I've been in the industry since I could crawl, but look, my grandfather obviously got me into the industry, and my first memory was probably realistically, like when I was probably 5. I was always around horses before then, but I can start to remember the horses around 5 and, 1991, 92. I could sense that obviously that's what my grandfather was into, and because there was just horses left, right and centre. And then probably 1994, he had his first big winner. Charmsky, we won the Prime Television Cup at Tamworth, and back then it was a $100,000 race, and it might not sound like a lot of prize money, but it's a long time ago, and it was a lot of prize money. Paul Falvey rode the horse, and that's when my grandfather bought our farm, 670 acres out at Gungal we had, and it just snowballed from there. I won't bore people too much, but from having nothing to standing 3 stallions, Free Flyer, Sunny Gildoran, Youthful Legs, to having 188 horses on the property, it was quite a big business. And then we had a lot of success with some good horses, winning some nice group races, enlisted races, stakes races, and horses like Adina and Corel Boy, and I won't go on and on, but we had great success, and then he unfortunately passed probably 9 years ago now, and it was probably an opportunity that one of our stallions died the same week, and another one wasn't performing well, and another one was unwell with arthritis. So it was with that, a lot of our brood mares, we sort of bred 28 to 30 a year. We had about 28 to 30 brood mares a year, and that we bred from, and it's probably half of those either weren't throwing what we wanted to anymore, and they were getting a bit older, or so it was just really good timing. Look, if we're going to step away, have a couple of years off, this is the time to do it. That's what we did, and we had that probably 3-year period or so away. And when we got back in, we just we bought our own little farm of 40 acres, and we thought syndication was the future, which I believe it is. And we got licensed. We were a registered syndicator now, and basically I still have the mentality of what we used to do. So I think that's why we're so different to the ordinary syndicator. Horses come first, the animals come first. That's
when you say we, it was you and your partner Genevieve.
My wife Jen. She's she's a solicitor for the last sort of 14, 15 years. So it was a bit of a no-brainer that with her background, legislation-wise, and all the rules of racing, and how we're governed by ASIC and Racing Australia, Racing New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, wherever it may be. I think it's very important to know the ins and outs that way. And Jen, that's her specialty, and I don't try and begin to know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So I just stick to the horses, and we work well. And obviously now we've got yourself, assistant bloodstock manager and clients relations manager, and we've got Shane. He's our farm manager that lives on the farm full time now, and the business is growing really well. Not too rapid; it's growing at a nice pace, and the future looks bright. And I think when you've had 188 horses to manage, which that was my job for my pop, my grandfather, it's quite easy to manage the horses we've got now, but things have changed a lot as well. So. We do things a lot differently. I saw what to do and what not to do when we ran when my pop had his business, when I worked for him. A lot of things that I wanted to change that, what old people are like, they get in their ways and they don't listen. And
he had obviously a lot of sentimental value for those horses, and that you said he had a lot of brood mares that he just kept along. And
I wanted to either retire the brood mares or give them to younger kids that want to learn how to ride horses, or use them as nanny mares, or whatever it may be, because all of our horses stayed with us, whether they retired or whatnot. So.
But we still have Corral Boy, don't we, as a nanny at the farm?
Yeah, he's 26, multiple Group 2 winner. And look, back then he retired in 05 or 06, and, he's, I think, a few thousand short of $1 million, which when John Tapp and I, when we did, he interviewed me, I think he said it's equivalent to like 3.6 million now. And that's without all these pop-up races that I know he would have went well in. So, and it's rare, like horses, he won from 1,100 metres to 2,300 metres.
You rarely see that nowadays, don't you?
No, you just, as we know, you don't see that. And those and we bred him, I was there the night that he was born. It's quite surreal, but he's happy, he's healthy. We've got him still at our farm. He's a beautiful nanny. I treat him as a nanny mare, but he's with one of our little colts now, one of our yearlings, and get him bossed around. But he's happy. He's probably looking better than even when he was racing. It's good. Things are looking well.
Yeah, no, and as you said, like I've come on the team, and syndication was, honestly, it wasn't ever something I thought I'd get involved in, because being from Ireland, it's very rare there. You'd only have a syndicate if you and your mates put it together. And so I came over about 9 years ago now, end up going to New Zealand first. I remember I was I had no ambition to travel. I was in England at a sale one day, a yearling sale, and it was pissing down rain, like all the places sold out of waterproofs, and that was that bad, which you'd say is a regular day in Ireland and England. But it was torrential rain this day, and some fella came up to me and he said, "Do you want to go to New Zealand?" And I said, "What's the weather like?" And he said, "It's sunny in summer." And 5 days later, I was on a plane. So that all snowballed from there. I worked for a number of farms, and you get to know everyone. I just thought the racing scene out here, the sales scene, like it's so inclusive, and every man, dog, cat, everyone has a share in a horse almost. And it was just... And
you've worked at some of the biggest farms in the country, in the world, and you've prepped some really good horses. Like, if you name 4 of your favourite horses that you've prepped, like, to give people an example.
So like, as you said, like, you don't want to rattle on, but some of them well-known ones that people would know would be like Home Affairs, Espiona recently, Yes, one in Everest, Vow Clare, one in Melbourne Cup.
Dubious.
Dubious. He was one of my favourite horses ever. And it's such an incredible industry. And here, especially, like the prize money, everything like that. And the thing I loved about it, why I didn't want to go home, is it's just, if you're willing to have a go and put the work in, people will give you that opportunity. And that's kind of like how we came about too. Like, obviously Kurrinda Bloodstock was up and running, and we just met at the sales from you going around looking at horses, and then we had a beer and that. We always got along, and then I came to a crossroads in my life. I actually got my residency in Australia, and I was like, oh, I always wanted to get into bloodstock, but I didn't know how to venture into it. And we got chatting, and you said, come out and see the farm. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I've loved
And
it
we basically
since.
just said, didn't we? Like, look, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
If you're interested, otherwise we will be hiring someone, but if you can consider it, it'd be great. You can come to the sales, because at the end of the day, there's certain things that I'm missing for sure. Everyone, you can't say that you're perfect, and having an extra set of eyes and ears and hands at the yearling sales is going to be priceless.
Yeah, and it's an industry that I think you can't be too stubborn in setting your ways, because it's ever evolving and you're never done learning.
No.
I don't care who you are, whether you've had 25 Group 1 winners or you're just starting out, you will learn something new every day, and it can come from the most unexpected spot as well. So yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about our story. Obviously, as we get into the podcast and that, we'll
you will learn more.
Yeah, and you'll probably stop listening. But no, so this episode, we've decided with the end of the spring racing campaign, mate, we'll just do a bit of a review on that, our thoughts and stuff.
How good was it? How's the horses? Like, one of our trainers, Matthew Dale, who's actually on the podcast, our next podcast, our next episode. So tune in for that. Like, he won the Kosciuszko front page. How good was he?
Incredible! Like, and for Matty, getting to know him as not just a trainer, but as a friend, and that, like, and knowing his whole family would have been involved in that horse and everything. Like, just I cheered that horse. I was there on the day, and I cheered that home as if we owned it or we had a share in it or that. Like, yeah, it is incredible. And to see, especially the Kosciuszko, that how they've set that out, it's just regular people. Yeah,
and Matthew will go into detail of, probably, or he hopefully goes into detail if he feels comfortable of the build up and what was involved. Did the preparation go to plan? Did it not go to plan? Did he have hurdles? There's so many things that the owners and people out there, I think, will love to hear. And look, great person, great family, great trainer. So, he deserves all the success that he gets. And what far out, like, the horse just, not being disrespectful, but it was on a different planet that day.
Yeah, geez, yeah. Like, it blew them away. Yeah. And I don't think anyone was expecting that.
No. I think when Mogo Magic, unfortunately, just stepped a bit slow, 2 furlongs in, I thought, personally, I just thought, done, this is race over. Because I think if Mogo Magic sat OSL outside the leader and pressured front page just a little bit, it's probably a different scenario. But when Mogo just unfortunately just stepped a bit slow, which, look, that's, at the end of the day, that's just racing. It's no fault of the horse or anyone else. That's just racing. Whether it copped a check, I can't go into detail because I didn't watch the Stewart's vision or anything, but I think 2 furlongs in, I thought, this is done. Race over. They're going to have to, a good one, like a very good horse, is going to have to beat him today. And when you're already probably at that, probably only 3 lengths off a Group 1, to be fair. Like, he's a proper Group 2 horse, in my opinion, and only a few lengths off a Group 1 horse, isn't he? Like,
well, he showed it on Champions Day, didn't he? Like, he was up against some of the best sprinters.
And the best sprinter in the world.
Yeah.
And, again, ran huge. Like, a country horse to run against horses like that, that's just fantastic. But other horses that we can touch base on. How's I Am Unstoppable? We've got the half sister, Satin Stiletto. That was a huge win for us.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he didn't win the big race, but just to come second in the Stallion Making Coolmore race, like,
and already again, a stakes
like,
winner as well.
We cheer that horse home like it's our own, because we're invested in the sister and that, and it's great for all of our owners and everything. Cool, like, they've already, not already, but they will get a return on their investment, win, lose or draw, because she's obviously a very valuable filly.
Yep.
And there are things that we, with our experience, like, we will go to sales and we'll do our homework and research, and that's what we're doing at the minute. A lot of our time is spent researching the sales coming up in January and that, and pedigrees and things, so we can find those little things to, make our clients money, and in other ways that isn't just racing. But yeah, it's no better time to get involved in racing. Like you said, the Cosy, you've got the Everest was on the same day. I was there on the day, mate, and the crowd there was incredible. Like I was just so happy. Luckily we were in the members area and the aircon was on, and after the girls dragged us around getting pictures all day, I said, I'm not moving from here. The bar queue isn't that bad and the aircon's on and I'm staying here. But the Everest, like what a concept that has been. Like, would you say that has become the biggest race in Australia now?
Oh, definitely. Like anyone that says it's not.
Bigger than the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, without a doubt. Like the prize money, it's a group, and even the likes of the best farms in the world now, everyone knows it's got a Group 1 status without a Group 1. Even on pedigree pay, like look at Yes, Yes, Yes. You know, look what he sold for. Everyone knows it's a Group 1. It'll eventually probably be classed as a Group 1, but proper race, proper horses, and concept fantastic, good for owners, public, people that aren't owners, people that don't even watch a horse all day are at the races and they haven't even seen a horse yet. It's just a good day out.
Well, it was amazing on the day as well, mate. And the Melbourne Cup, which I've gone on a bit of tour recently, I've done the Everest, the Golden Eagle and the Melbourne Cup without
I've been working.
Yes, the perks of the job. But no, I didn't even plan on half of them. We had Lyrical running at the Golden Eagle day and everything. But it was funny because they were there for that race and then the crowd sort of like ventured out a bit after it. There was still a huge crowd there, but like there was 80,000 at the Melbourne Cup. And yeah, they're just there for those specific races. So to see that from the Australian nation, like the interest in it, like it is insane.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide. And then you've got the likes of moving on to like Mr. Brightside, like what a freak of a horse he is, and Alligator Blood, and like he must be so tough. And
but these they get such like cult followings behind them, and you've got all
and they've earned that too.
You see the races, mate, and they all have their hats on and everything, custom made hats, and yeah, just incredible, like to see the nation.
And Romantic Warrior, I stuck solid.
Yeah, you were on him. I had
a few critics along the way, and I wasn't worried.
I'll admit I jumped ship after the first run. I just thought there was so much improvement that he had to make.
Yeah.
And he obviously made it. But I just thought Mr. Brightside had gone to another level this year. And you'd love to own a horse like him, wouldn't you, Mr. Brightside?
He's just a war horse, isn't he? Like these horses, I think people need to understand, these horses just don't come around like that often. It's very far and few between. But when you're involved in such a horse, which anyone can be, it's honestly the luck of the draw, and as soon as you purchase a share, you've got to be in it to win it, and you just never know what you've got.
Oh, but they can come from anywhere, can't they? You hear so many stories, like Mr. Brightside, he didn't cost much at the sales, and earlier I said Van de Clare, we sent Van de Clare to the sales and nobody wanted him.
Yep.
He passed in, so the owners raced them themselves. And yeah,
what's he running? 4 Melbourne Cups now.
Yeah, that was his fourth, and
just incredible.
Yeah, like, and he's won I don't know how much.
And probably in career best form.
It was he was great this prep, wasn't he? He was very unlucky in Moonee Valley.
Yep.
Yeah, so just that they're just honest, tough horses. And I remember the Moonee Valley race, we watched it, and I knew that horse on the inside was ahead of him, but knowing him, on his outside, knowing him, he did it in the Melbourne Cup. He got past and he fought back, and it was just the swooper down the outside that he didn't see coming. Yeah. Like they just have that heart, don't they? And they love their racing. Yeah. They'll give 100%. And we have a couple of horses like that, mate, and they're not on a level of Van de Clare and that, but they will, whether they run third, fourth, or whatever, they'll give you 100% every single time they go around. They're just honest horses.
Yeah, and for me and for us as a business, it's not where they place. It's I think during this podcast, I want to I guess try and do my best and your best and our best to educate people along the way as well. Like, it's not where they run. You might have a horse run 9th but beat 1.8 in a great race. It's how they perform and how they run. It's not where they run. You can come 9th, but you walk away and go, wow, like he went or she went enormous today. And trust me, there's a lot of bad days.
Yeah.
We have a lot, that's just racing. You have more bad days than good days. So, but we make sure we enjoy the good ones. And moving on to like the 2-year-old first season sires, like, they've just come out of the woodworks this year, haven't they?
Yeah. Like
Alabama Express.
Hasn't he gone well? Like, I genuinely, I'm not just going to say now because he's killing it, but I did really like his yearlings last year.
I loved him. Yeah, I really liked him.
I tried to talk a mate of mine into sending his mare there and that.
Now he can't get in for
it was his mare, so I was willing to take the risk. So I didn't send my own. But no, like he's a sire that he seems to get a winner every 2-year-old race now that's ran. He had another good one on the weekend. Blue Point's another one. He's been killing it in Europe and that.
Yeah.
Yes has had a couple of ones. Probably Pirata. Yeah, Pirata has had that handy horse in Matt Lowry's.
Yep.
Coleman.
And James Harron has the handy one as well. Didn't it ran third or second? Is that in the Breeders' Plate?
Yeah, it was in.
It ran well anyway.
Yeah, I think he might have finished 4th or 5th, but he had a good run. Like as you said again,
it's a good horse.
If you look into the run, yeah, but he's a good horse and he's had a few nice ones trialing, and the word around him's pretty good. And that was there any that like you think you thought a little bit more of that haven't done it yet, or that might?
The Autumn Sun for me, I'm not going to sit here and diss any stallions or anything like that, but for me, I really thought that he probably do a bit more for now. But to be fair, I think his horses will get better with age. I think we all jump on
with
the
his
train.
pedigree and that. Like I know the families quite well there because it's that Aga Khan family, and I actually one of the first jobs I got back home was working breeding season at the Aga Khans, and half of his horses, mate, when they were not no good in the flat, but when they were limited, they got sold to go jumping, and they made Group 1 jumping horses.
Yeah,
and they were highly sought after. So they do take a bit of time, those horses, and it was rare that the Aga Khan ever had a 2-year-old winner.
Yeah,
or even a runner.
In the right hands, don't they?
Yeah,
they've got to go to the right trainers that want to be patient with them, and he's definitely a horse. I think it's probably good from a buying point of view because you go to the sales next year and he's not throwing those early 2-year-old types, and so it brings the price down a lot. So if you want one of those 3-4-year-old plus, like a So You Think, generally speaking.
It took him a few years to really get going and get the credit he deserved.
Yeah, and I think it's a fact that we're so quick to sack them, so quick.
Yeah, and there's plenty of stallions out there that they get plenty of winners and good winners too, and
just bread and butters.
They're not commercial.
Song,
they're not
Rupert,
Pride
Ruby,
of Dubai.
Pride of Dubai. Like it's incredible. Look at your song. Like he's not fashionable, but like I love him. What a stallion! Like we've had number of your songs that go well. So
recently we had Lyrical Beauty.
Yeah, she looks like she's got some nice upside.
Yeah, she went back to back for Matt Dale. And
Yep. But yeah, no, I think it'll be great hitting the ground at the Magic Millions come January. We'll keep it short. We just wanted to introduce the podcast, what we're about, what we're going to do moving forward. We're going to have people from the industry interviewed, without the industry, and send through any funny stories, and send through your worst and best beats punting-wise to george@kbloodstock.com.au. Email George, doesn't matter how bad or how good it is, flick it through to him.
The worse the better, to be honest.
The worst, the worst and the most rawest the better. And just annoy George as much as you can. Just flick him, even if you've got 10, flick him 10.
Yeah, I've got a junk folder set up for it.
And I guess our work starts literally as of this week for finding our next Malibu from the Magic sale.
Yeah, and we've got some big plans in that we'll unveil in the coming months. We've been working behind the scenes doing that. People obviously don't get to see that side of it or that, but we're excited about them. Some people we might be working with and that'll get announced in the next while. And yeah, it's my first year being I've always been on the selling side of it. So on the buying side of it, I'm really excited. We're doing all our homework now into our pedigrees and our stats and everything like that. And that's just going to stand to us when we do hit the ground running, as you said, and we get to Magic Millions. And obviously there's other reasons I'm excited to get to the Magic Millions.
Not
Being in the Gold Coast.
Not the Heinekens.
No, the casinos and the beaches and that. It's a worse places.
It's a terrible place.
Yeah. The worst.
But tune in, like, subscribe, click, share, do whatever you do. It's fantastic to just share it around. We're going to give out heaps of Kurrinda Bloodstock merch.
On the stories, mate, for the best story, after a bit of time when we get some in, we'll pick the best one. So make it really outlandish.
So every podcast we'll get some Kurrinda merch out to the best one.
Yeah, and we'll send you out some merch, and we've got plenty of brand new merch with Fan Fave do a fantastic job.
I've got some really good beats.
Yeah,
I can't enter, so it's all right.
What about wins?
No comment.
Not as many.
But yep, that's it. That's what it is, guys. Raw and real podcast, horse racing, non-horse racing. Watch it, get involved, email George and annoy him as much as you can.